Good evening. Welcome to Episodes. I'm Valeria Didенко. Our top stories. World Autism Awareness Day. Fears and misconceptions. Save Kyiv Modernism. Why do Kyivans protect the flying saucer near the Lybitska metro station? Feeling French. The opening of the French Spring in Kyiv. According to a European Commission representative, Nord Stream 2 violates principles of transparency and equal access. Earlier, Finland and Germany have approved the construction of the Nord Stream 2 gas pipeline through their economic zones. Nord Stream 2 is a new export gas pipeline running from Russia to Europe across the Baltic Sea. The 2nd of April is World Autism Awareness Day. On this day, the Kyiv Wears Blue event was held in Taras Shevchenko Park. Blue is the color of Autism Awareness Day. The symbol of this day is a blue ribbon. The participants of the event supported the Autism Awareness campaign by standing in a line and holding blue ribbons and balloons in their hands. Children with autism drew at master classes and folded a puzzle in the shape of a blue heart. During the event, organizers distributed informational brochures about autism. Our correspondents have refuted misconceptions about autism together with experts of the Center of Autism in Lviv.
This is Andriy. He is the fourth child in the family and he is autistic. First suspicions about autism arose when the boy was 2.5 years old. Now that he is 6, Andriy's development is close to 1.5-year-old child. The boy likes to play the piano and walk the same road to kindergarten every day.
Until I understood that my family has a special child, I didn't notice special people around me. The perception of other people is quite complicated. We have problems while busing. Sometimes it happens that his health is worse and he gets tired of the road. He begins to jitter, sometimes gets hysterical. The reaction of people is that he is deficient in intelligence. They tell me I should have looked after the child, and so on.
Треба було раніше дивитися за дитиною, виховувати, що він вас таке витворяє і тому подібне.
Andriyko studies in the preschool group of the Center for Autism in Lviv, where he is helped by a teacher defectologist. In addition, children here are accustomed to ordinary life. They draw, play and take part in sports activities.
The main criteria of defining autism is the lack of role play, communicative disturbance, that is, children do not communicate with each other or with adults. In fact, there is the myth that people are afraid of them. These children see and hear everything 10 times clearer and louder than other people, while entering a room or a store or sitting in transport. Obviously, for society it is weird when a child starts to throw something or wants to leave the room. My advice to the public is not to oversee the child's behavior, not to give any recommendations to the parents, because parents are also stressed, and support for them is more important. Society says, "Oh, they are sick, poor children," and I sometimes counter this and say, "Why do you think that they are unhappy? And why do you think that they are unhealthy? Perhaps they're happy to just be living in their own world." We hope that we will find that thread, that clue, unwind it and pull out our boy with autism.
Марія Марковська, Яна Коник, specially for Episodes.
What do you think about Soviet architecture? Should these buildings be modified or demolished? Our journalist visited the unique the Kyiv flying saucer, which is under reconstruction, to figure out what is going on there.
This is one of the controversial buildings in Kyiv. Built in early 70s, it was a remarkable example of Soviet architecture. But nowadays, the shopping mall nearby may destroy the great monument of the past. So welcome the Kyiv Flying Saucer. Today, Kyiv is concerned about the construction of a mall which is close to the Institute of Scientific and Technical Expertise and Information, part of which includes the unusual object. Recently, it became the main location of the Biennale Kyiv International.
I found out that the reconstruction of the saucer's hole inside has been already begun. In particular, they dismantled its chair's cover and said that they want to change the beams, but it all affects the acoustics. They don't ask anyone. I don't know anything about it.
We didn't manage to speak to any representative of the Kyiv Flying Saucer. None of them want to speak on camera, because they say the more they speak, the more fake news appear. A named source from the Kyiv Flying Saucer explained the situation as it is. The conditions here are a real disaster, but this building will stay. And here are the thoughts of the pedestrians.
Oh no, of course it should. There are too many shopping centers already built throughout the city. This library must be saved indeed.
Functionally and historically, this building has no value anymore. It should stay because it is a part of our architecture, symbolic, but it should be put in order to look more picturesque.
I consider that this terrible building must be removed.
This kind of architecture will never happen again in the same form it was originally built. It is necessary to say what might disappear or be destroyed by modern upgrades. Firstly, there could be changes in exterior which will distort the original architect's idea. Those imply facing materials and facade. Shopping mall nearby will destroy the building's scheme of vertical and horizontal, turning it into a box.
Alexandra Panchenko, Ivana Prokopchuk, specially for Episodes.
Hospitality or hostility? How do Ukrainians meet foreigners? Our journalists decided to make an experiment. For the results, please watch our report.
So it's a common thing that I'm always sitting by Ukrainian taxists. By the way, the price for Ukrainian souvenirs are normal. I'm from Syria, so the prices are lower than there in my native country.
There are different myths about foreigners in Ukraine. One of them relates to cheating. We decided to check, is it true or not? Our team divided into two groups. Valeria was pretended to be a Turkish tourist, and I was an Ukrainian girl.
And how much does it cost?
How much? 1600, 77, $5.
$75.
А скільки така?
1600, виски. Там десь $62 коштує.
Excuse me, how much does it cost?
Bracelets?
Yes.
80 hryvnia for synthetic cord.
And indoors?
In dollars? $3.
Okay, thank you. Excuse me, I need a taxi на Hotel Крещатик. How much does it cost?
$10.
$10 $10 1 meter? 1 kilometer?
Ні, 1 кілометр, 20 гривень на кілометр.
Окей, thank you.
А до стели скільки буде?
Стела, Аміга, де до стели, я не знаю. Майдан Незалежності, от там на клубі.
Так, а скільки буде коштувати? Бо я не знаю, що буде. Ну, а приблизно, мені гроші треба зняти. До 200? So, our experiment shows that foreigners can feel themselves comfortable and not be afraid of being deceived in Ukraine. In Kyiv for sure. Kатерина, Lizogub, Valeria, Жалкевич, Ілля, Євлаш, specially for Episodes.
The Future of Ukrainian Economy conference was held last Friday in Kyiv. Our correspondents have discovered what is happening in the Ukrainian economy and what its future is.
The slow development of the Ukrainian economy is primarily due to the orientation towards the export of raw materials instead of finished products. 68% of European exports are ready-made industrial products, which are tens of times more expensive than raw materials. These questions became the key issues for discussion at the Economic Future of Ukraine conference. Today's conference is dedicated to guiding young scholars and students and giving them benchmark in balanced economic development. Top international speakers and leading Ukrainian economists will share their experience and raise the issue of creating a new economic policy and promoting entrepreneurship. The organizer of the event, the president of the Ukrainian Association of the Roman Club, Viktor Halasyuk, said that it is now important for Ukraine to have a stake in the development of its own production, processing industry, and innovative activities.
It is impossible to build a strong and successful economy without a powerful production sector. Those who think so either do not understand the economy or try to mislead the country in order to keep it as a raw material source for successful industrialized countries. Europe is consciously engaged in reindustrialization. The United States also introduces vigorous protectionism. They do it, but foreign experts tell us that we have to do it in a different way.
Harry Jacobs, head of the World Consortium of Universities, stresses that Ukraine needs to modernize its agrosphere as one of its main directions should be the introduction of innovation instead of the now predominant exploitation of manual labor.
The number one thing is to focus on the education. You have the intelligence. People are very bright. I think we need a new system that brings out all the talents and develops all the talents of the people rather than the old system of listen and, memorize what we have to say.
Yuri Petruk, head of the AgTech Ukraine Association, also understands that it is important for Ukraine to introduce new technologies in the agrarian sector. However, on the agriculture market in the export structure, processed products remain at only about 20%, while raw materials constitute 80%. Changing the situation requires significant investment.
It needs time. In order for something to be exported, it is necessary to firstly have in a country the exporters who would be able to export processed products, since export is not a cheap story. Those who have already started to export processed products were preparing and investing money in this sphere for a long time.
Srhi Timenko, manager of the Kernel Educational Project on oil production, says that the top companies in the agrarian sector are already introducing the latest technologies in their production. Unmanned tractors, drones for polishing poles and exploring their fertility, and GPS technology. In its implementation, the launch of Falcon Heavy in space also had a direct impact on the agrosphere.
How do you think? Who is the next to fly into space? This would be an agronomist, because people always wanted to eat and will continue to do so. And it does not matter where we will be, on Earth, on the planet Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, or in another galaxy, we would still want to eat. We will not be able to survive without this.
The future economic development and innovative technologies depends on young specialists. Oksana Bulach, Tetiana Denькович, Marta Franchuk, especially for Episodes.
The French Spring, the 15th Festival of French Culture in Ukraine, has started in Kyiv. Our journalists have joined in the atmosphere of spring and art.
Freedom, equality, brotherhood. On the last day of March, the French Spring in Ukraine festival began under this slogan. Thousands of spectators gathered to see the air performance on Софіївська Square.
Будучи дончанами, мы переселенцы.
In Donetsk, we are settlers. We have always attended cultural events. We were especially impressed by the French circus. It took place in our opera house. It was a unique show. I was delighted by what was happening on the walls of Sofia. I was grateful to the French for how they feel our misfortune, our situation.
Нашу біду, нашу от ситуацію.
The light show on the Sofiivska Bell Tower was accompanied by original music performed by the National Presidential Orchestra of Ukraine and the Dark Daughters Group. The French Spring will continue with exhibitions, films, street art and musical concerts. The festival will be held in Kyiv, Kharkiv, Lviv, Dnipro and other Ukrainian cities by the end of April. Oksana Radko, Olga Makhinko, specially for Episodes.
That is all for now. Thanks for watching. Stay with us.